Okay, this is a short video just to walk you through the proposed new look of this site, of the citation building screen in Cite-Builder. For those of you who want to get onto our development server and have a bit of a play with it, and perhaps send us some feedback. So, just by way of background, you'll recall that a number of the citation rules have multiple styles available, and when they do, they often have a lot of different fields displayed, because that's the superset, if you like, the whole combined set of all the fields which are required or optional for all the rules. And so there may be some fields, say for example, say collection name, which is not required for some styles, but is required for others. And it can kind of get a little bit confusing. It's not too bad when we've got just 3 styles here, but in some cases, let's go to, say, books, authors, single author. You know, we've got 8 styles there. And obviously, as time goes by, we're going to add more and more styles to all of the rules that we have, or most of the rules that we have. Now, in this case, if I look at this example here, if I was to go to, if I was to do a shift click on Chicago, I can see that the fields with the red, solid red borders around them are required. The fields with the dotted red border are optional, and the fields that don't have a border, in this case the short title, is not needed at all for this style. And this has been in the current version for some time. So let me just click through. Let me say look at SAG. You can see with Society of Australian Genealogists, all of the fields are needed, but actually addition and pages are optional. If I look at Strathclyde, you can see again short title is not needed at all. Go to UTAS, short title is needed. Library and Archives of Canada, short title and addition are not needed at all, and neither is the page. So this can get a little bit confusing, and a lot of people don't even realize, despite the fact that it's written up at the top here, that you can do the shift click. So this is the current version, and to be honest with you, after demoing it over and over and over and over and over again at RootsTech, I started to think there might be a better way of doing this, and that's what I want to show you. So I'm going to flick over now to our test server, and this is the new look. So you can see we no longer have all the different citation buttons, the buttons for the different citation styles at the bottom. We have one button, and we have these tabs at the top. It defaults to the first style. The fields which are listed are all used by the citation, by the Chicago style. Those with dotted borders are optional, but everything else is required. I decided not to put the red border around everything because I just figured that was unnecessary. So it's a little bit of a change from the current version. So unless it's got a dotted red border, it is needed. If it has a dotted red border, it is optional. But all of these will be used by the Chicago style. Now, if for example I click on Library and Archives of Canada, you can see some fields disappear completely. They're not used. And in fact, we have no dotted red borders. So there's no optional fields here. All of these fields are required. Let's go to Society of Australian Genealogists. Here, we've got some extra fields appearing. Short title appears, whereas we had no short title for Chicago. So you can see what you would do. See, Evidence Explained in Chicago actually used the same fields, the same information, but the format of the output is different. Harvard doesn't use the pages at all. So just click through, and so now you only see the fields which will be used by the style which you have chosen. So let me fill one in for you. Let's say Fred Mackenzie, book title, let's just say A History of the Mackenzies in, whoops, I spelled that wrong, sorry about that, in Australia. Let's say, it's optional, but we're going to include it. 3rd edition, publication place, Sydney, Australia, publisher, Sydney Historical Society, Sydney Historical Pty Limited, publication year, let's just say it was published in 2000, and pages, let's just say if we're referencing page 123. Okay, so now I could generate the citation, which I just click on the button, and there's my citation as normal. Tells me that, you know, confirms that it was built in evidence explained style. But now watch this. Let's say now I go and select Society of Australian Genealogists. It keeps the information I put in. It displays the extra field I need. I'm just going to say Mackenzie's. I would pick something I can't spell, wouldn't I? In Australia. And now rebuild the citation. And there's citation in SAG style. Might click to Strathclyde. It rebuilds it automatically. UTAS. It rebuilds it automatically. If I go back to evidence explained, rebuilds it. It's still kept that short title, but it's just hidden it. So if I want to flick back, so here what you can do is, if you need to, generally you'll be using the same style, but if you need to just flick through to find a style which is most applicable. I mean, say for example, you know, we don't have a first footnote here in Harvard style, so you might decide that if you need a first footnote, let's just go and flick to evidence explained. So that's basically how it works now. You pre-select the style you want. You only see the fields which are going to be used by that style. They're all going to be used. Apart from the, you know, the ones with the dotted lines around them are optional. So if you don't include them, you won't get a problem. It just won't include them in the citation. And that's the new look. Of course, if you save it as a template, let me go back to my templates, top level. I just got some. You get the same look and feel obviously in your templates, and if you've only saved selected styles in your template, then those are the only ones which will display. It's kind of a little bit redundant now, given that the only reason that we gave you the option to choose which styles to save in a template was to save having all these extra things that you're not going to have to fill out, but that's still there. But yes, so this is the new look and feel. Basically, it's on the development server now if you would like to go and try it out. And just kind of give us a little bit of feedback over the next few days what you think.